trying to be as natural as possible.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just be yourself. Okay, so first of all, where did the name Tweezy come from?
That's a throwback, man. I've been having so Tweezy originates from Tweezy, and my name's Antoine, so it kind of just works out like Tweezy, Antoine. It kind of just blends in. It goes way back to like middle school days, and then right after COVID happened, we were able to like get back to work because it was like a year and a half like no work. And so I just took out the A and the N, and I said, hey, let me make it short. I vend for a living is what I do for work. And then so I kind of just put it together, and I just made it Tweezy the Vendor. And I just been running it with it since, and we're like going about a year and a half strong now.
All right, so you said events, right? But so you have vendor as part of your name. So do you consider yourself a vendor? Is that who you are?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Shoot, I started vending before I was even a stadium vendor. I started selling lollipops like in middle school, like back in 7th grade, 8th grade, chips in high school. So I've been kind of like a vendor in a sense. But I started vending 10 years ago when I was 16 down in San Diego because that's where I'm from. One of my neighbors had said, hey, you should work at the baseball stadium selling peanuts and Cracker Jacks. And ever since then, I kind of liked it, and it's been working out great so far. I love it.
So you're not a vendor just at Dodger Stadium. You're like all over the place, right?
Yeah, so places I've gone, I've pretty much every baseball stadium in California. I go to Vegas. I go to spring training every year. I've been to Colorado. I've been to Tennessee. I definitely want to go check out Chicago, Florida, New York. So some guys kind of just stay local. Me, I kind of keep my options open. I kind of work a little bit everywhere. But there's nothing like the Dodger Stadium. This is like the best place to be. It's the most funnest. I love it here. It's amazing here. I love it.
So when you say you want to go to other stadiums, it's not just to visit. You want to go to other stadiums to work, to be a vendor.
Oh no, yeah. So I have a close friend named Reggie Duval Saint. I think he's from Philadelphia. He actually has a mission to work as a vendor in every single MLB and NFL stadium, and I believe he's almost done with that mission for both. But for me, I kind of just keep it local in Cali, and then just kind of whatever benefits, like what would benefit my income. So you could kind of pick and choose where you want to be when it comes to vending. So I kind of like the little freedom of it. It's pretty cool.
So you have a social media following. What was the big thing that made you go viral, that you started noticing all of a sudden, hey man, a lot of people are starting to follow me?
I think so. When I came back from, like after COVID, it was 2021 June. We were able to like vendors come back in the stadium, and it was still partial attendance. I actually had added like my username. It was originally without any of these pins. I didn't have any of these pins. It was my username, Tweezy the Vendor. I had added it, and it was like for about a month or so. Everybody kept adding me, and I had gained like I think like 2,000 followers on Instagram because of it. And then the Dodgers had said like, hey, they consider it self-promoting, so they didn't like that. So I had came to work, and they had said like, hey, you can't wear your hat no more because so it's not like anything. Me personally, I don't think anything's wrong with it, but they said no self-promoting, and so I had to buy a whole new hat, and then I just started adding pins. Like some people gave me a couple of these pins, and then I added a few myself.
Yeah, so how do you deal with that when all of a sudden you start getting popular, but it might jeopardize your job? I mean, in a sense, what you're doing, isn't it good for business?
I mean, I think the people love me, man, here, and I think it's great for business, honestly. Because in essence, I'm representing the Dodgers, and it's definitely a blessing being a part of the team. Even though I work for the concessionaire, I still work inside the stadium with all the people and the fans. So I mean, personally, I don't see it's nothing that should jeopardize like my job, or like I want to say just who I am as a person. I was hoping that it would last a lot longer, because sometimes, if I want to promote myself, it's only word to mouth instead of just like, hey, check out my social media right here. You could look me up. It was a lot easier that way, but there's always somebody who has to control certain things in stadium, and everything's ran by how it goes.
So, are there vendors that are haters? Do they look at you and go, "Hey, man, tone it down. Just sell. You sell. You're making me look bad over here."
Um, so for many years, even before I was Tweezy the Vendor, because I'm going on my 10th year vending now, I actually always kind of been this way, and I did have like a lot of the older guys, kind of just like hate on the whole like be more like with the fans and exciting and all that stuff. So some people did, didn't some people didn't like the idea that I was very interactive. Um, but I mean, that's just me. That's just who I am as a person. I enjoy it. And the people right here at Dodger Stadium, they love it too. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. Um, there's some facilities where we all have to sell the same product, and because I feel like I'm a very well-rounded vendor, it's kind of a threat to their income because it's all commission based. So some people think like that we get paid by the hour, but it's not. It's all commission and tips only. So but the way it works here at Dodgers, it's seniority based. So the longer you've been here, the better product you get to sell. So that's pretty cool. It's a set where everybody's able to make some money here.
Wait, so let me get this straight. You could be selling something, and if you don't sell anything, you don't get paid for the day?
Pretty much, for the most part, that's how a lot of companies work. Now, I believe at Dodgers, I'm not too sure the minimum wage in LA. I think it's like $16 or something like that. I'm not too sure. So if we only do 4 hours of labor. So if you don't hit the minimum sales of the 4 hours that you're here, I believe you get paid the minimum. For most facilities, it's kind of like that. But I mean, I'm not trying to come for $60. You know what I mean? So I try my best to, sell the most I can, not only for the company but for myself, so I can make a living. You know what I mean?
And you're making a living, right, doing this?
Oh no, yeah, I do this pretty much out of the whole month. So far, I only get maybe like 4 days off in a month.
Damn. So I saw a video of you partying with the DJs out there in the center field plaza. That's not frowned upon. You were able to do that on your own time, or how'd you pull that off?
Well, actually, me and DJ Severe were actually really tight. We had met, I think, a couple years ago. Because ever since I started working here 5 seasons ago, little by little, they kind of like were putting me on the big screen. But it wasn't until like after COVID and the whole Tweezy the Vendor was created, it started becoming like a regular thing. And so me and the DJ, we linked up, we met each other, and he's really down to earth. He's really cool people, very humble. And so we hit it off. And one day he was right there DJing in the outfield. I think it was after a win, and he had saw me and he like brought me up. And I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with just being cool with the people. I mean, we do this for the people, you know what I mean? So I just love the energy I could bring to the people. So I mean, nobody said nothing about it. I hope nobody ever says anything about it. I don't think it should ever be frowned upon. Because like I said, I'm representing the Dodgers, and I'm good people's. He's good people's. He's the DJ of the stadium for right here at Dodgers. So much love to Lanier, DJ Severe. You already know. So yeah, man, it's been cool.
So you're not a salesperson. You're an entertainer, aren't you?
For sure, it's both. I've always had sales in my blood. Big shout out to my uncle David. He's a very big, aspiring, inspiring person to me. Very successful. It's just in my blood. I've always been a salesman, but not only a salesman. I've always just had it. I've always been open to like entertaining people. It's always been cool. I'm just a people's person. I'm outgoing. I'm easy to talk to. So I like it. And if you could entertain and bring some income in, why not do both? You know what I mean? So here we are now.
Where'd you learn how to dance like that? I seen a video, man, where you are breaking it down. Where all of a sudden I was just like, "Is that Usher?"
So I've always been into house music. I really love house music. Always grew onto beats and how they were made. And I started going to like little tiny like raves like back in like high school, um, back in the day, and I kind of learned how to shuffle back then, and then so I kind of just like implemented like shuffling and just like random dance moves all together. And every time I just wing it. I wing it every time. It's not the same dance moves every time. It could be similar, but I kind of just wing it depending on what I'm selling. And then when it comes like to dancing with the whole ice cream and the dry ice, that's like a whole like its own little hibachi show just with the ice cream instead of the steak.
You were at the Super Bowl, weren't you?
I did go to this last Super Bowl in Arizona, and I did go to the one prior in LA. So that was my first ever one. It was pretty cool. I liked it. I plan on going to my third ever Super Bowl coming up in Vegas. I'm really hoping I can go. I believe I'm going to be a candidate to go. And so we just got to wait a couple more months until that happens.
Now, is this you working the Super Bowl, or are you going as a spectator?
No, definitely working. Majority, I mean, I'll go watch a Super Bowl if I want to go. I know that not everybody gets permitted to go work a Super Bowl. You have to be hand selected because it's such a premium event. And so I had been working with my boss that ran the Super Bowl for a couple years now, like about 7 years now or so. So it's been cool, man. Sometimes in life it's about who you know, not what you know. So that's definitely been a blessing for sure in disguise.
Well, here on the Bleed Los podcast, we're about three things. We're about the Dodgers, we're about Los Angeles, and we're about tacos. So I got a couple of questions here. We're going to wrap things up. These are speed round questions. We call this our kickback questions. So first of all, are you a Dodger fan? Are you a baseball fan?
So it's crazy. A kid growing up from San Diego. I grew up like a Padre fan, and I used to work for the Padres. That's where like my whole vending career kind of started. It wasn't up until 2018. I was called up by one of my bosses that they were introducing beer vendors in the seats of Dodger Stadium for the first time ever in history. And that's when I first got introduced to come and work here. And I just really couldn't believe like how amazing the people was, the team was, the atmosphere. I mean, I loved all of it. I fell in love with all of it. And then I kind of grew onto the people, onto the team, the history from Brooklyn to LA. I mean, it's just the whole background and the history. I fell in love with Jackie Robinson. I mean, it's just so much to love. And I took it all in, and then I became a Dodger fan ever since, for sure.
I mean, Petco Park is a beautiful stadium. So, getting called up to work at Dodger Stadium, is that like being called up to work in the majors as opposed to the minors down there in Petco?
It's definitely been a blessing for sure. Working here, there's definitely some money to be made. Right there at Padre Stadium. I love the stadium. The food is great. The atmosphere is nice. It's right there by the little bay, by the convention center. There's definitely like similar opportunities there. I think I was just way more welcomed here than my own city, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to see it inside out, but outside in. If you were to like sit down and talk to me and figure out my story. A lot of people don't know, but actually back in 2018 when we were introduced to sell beer, I didn't know anybody in LA, so I couldn't couch surf. I didn't have family here, so I actually would just thug it out and just sleep in my car at the gym every single game, make a little couple $100, and then after like the 7-game homestand, drive straight back to San Diego. So it was kind of like not a struggle, but it was like I wanted this. Like I wanted to be a part of it. I'm willing to sleep on my car to do so and make a living, you know. And so it's been a blessing ever since, for sure.
So, are you still commuting from San Diego to LA?
So I've been actually blessed. We're going on 2 years now. That I have a really close friend of mine. I consider him family. He actually rents me out like a little place in South Central. A really good price. So I've been blessed. I don't have to like sleep in my car or commute all the time. So I still live in San Diego, and then I still live, and now I've been living in LA for 2 years now.
So, what's your favorite part of LA? I'm talking geography here. Like, what part of LA is your favorite?
I mean, the beaches are great. Just the history, honestly, the history goes really deep. It's LA's been through a lot, but it has a lot to love. Not only with the sports, but just like I said, the history, man. It's, you know, just like anywhere, you have good parts, like good parts of the city, and then you have like the bad side of the city. But honestly, even in some bad parts of LA, there's some good out of it. You know what I mean? So not everything in LA is what they call hood. It just has a strong community of people who firmly believe on, you know, this is where they're from. And I love that. I love how people are very strong-minded about, you know, where they're from and what it stands for. And there's a lot to love. And then there's Griffith Park. There's Chavez Ravine Park. I've gone disc golfing there one time with a friend. I mean, there's a lot to love, man. The people is cool, the food is good. It's a big city. Sometimes the traffic could be like, you know, but if you work around it, you make it happen. And there's a lot to love in Los Angeles, for sure.
Do you have a future in politics? That was a good non-answer. So wait, you're going to tell me either the east side, the west side, the south side. What part of LA?
I probably would say the west side, not only because of Hollywood or Santa Monica or Long Beach. I just think I've always liked the breeze. I feel like the more east you go, the more hotter it gets. So the more west you go, you get the breeze from the ocean. And I love the beach. I love just chilling at the beach, in some swim trunks, maybe a little chela. You know, it's cool, man. And I love being a part of LA. I'm going on, I think, my 8th year working in LA. So I had first started, my commute from San Diego to when I first started working in LA was crazy. I had no car. We're talking a whole day just to get to the Rose Bowl, or just to get to LA Coliseum when I was like 18, 19 years old.
Okay, last one. As I mentioned, we're all about tacos here. So, I mean, San Diego's got some great tacos too. So, two-parter here. Which is a better taco town, San Diego or Los Angeles? And then what is your favorite taco, and where do you go to get that taco?
Oh, man. See, in San Diego, there's like, if you know, like a couple spots, and that's the same for Los Angeles. I know a lot of people like praise King Taco in LA, but I just never grew on to King Taco. I'm not really a big fan. And then in San Diego, everybody like praises Tacos El Gordo, and they actually bring like good quality to the table. But if I had a favorite taco spot in San Diego, it probably would be Tacos El Gordo, because that's just the go-to. They're from Tijuana. I mean, they bring good quality to the table. If we're talking Los Angeles, there's two spots that always come to mind. Either Tacos El Viejon on Instagram, or I believe it's Tacos Los Poblanos Estilo Tijuana. Those are fire. I mean, if you go to a taquero and they don't got guacamole, it's like, how are you supposed to eat a taco, man? A lot of people in LA, I don't like avocado, I don't like guacamole, no me gusta. I'm like, man, it's like, my mom's from Tijuana, and it's like, I grew up with avocado on my tacos, so it's like, without it, it's like the taco's naked.
What's your favorite protein?
Favorite protein? Like
You're like carne asada al pastor. I mean,
protein, man, the cabeza and the carne asada all the way by far. I mean, I like adobada, but I noticed in Los Angeles nobody really has the adobada like they have in San Diego. The adobada, I think they call it over here. They call it it's like a different type of adobada. It's called. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't remember, but I'm not really a big fan of the adobada out here. It's all right, but it's really hard finding like good like eateries right here in Los Angeles unless you know or if you're referred, you know. And speaking about food, I've been wanting to start my food journey and my food channel. I just been lagging on that. That's a couple years overpast, but we'll get there for sure.
So, where can our listeners, our viewers, follow you on the on the social media?
You guys could follow and tap in. I go by Tweezy the Vendor. It's TWEEZY the Vendor, all together, no spaces. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All my names the same, Tweezy the Vendor across the board. But just remember, it ain't easy being Tweezy.